taking that comfortable seat on our mat in that easy pose, I do invite you to roll the shoulders down away from those ears. We're going to take the hands to our belly. Your eyes can be open, gaze soft, or closed today. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Continue with your breath. Connecting the breath and connecting the sensations we feel throughout our bodies. I now invite you, we're going to take our hands, prayer, heart, center, chest, and continue with that breath. I now invite you, we're going to take the right hand grounded to the mat beside us. Taking an inhale, floating left hand to the sky. Follow with that yogi gaze. And then we're going to go into our side bend. Inhale. Exhale. Taking a few breaths here. Taking an inhale, we're just going to simply roll the body to center and then plant left hand beside you on your mat. Extending right hand over. Taking a few breaths here. Connecting the breath with the sensations you're feeling throughout the body. And then we're going to take the body just simply back to that easy pose. I invite you to take the hands on top of those knees, rolling the shoulders a few times, down away from the ears. I now invite you, we're going to take our head just over to the left side in a gentle neck stretch. Just taking a few breaths here. On your inhale, I invite you to take the head to center. Exhale. Inhale, start taking the head to the right as you let the shoulders relax. Taking a few breaths here. Embracing that little quiet time. Peace within ourselves in this present moment. now invite you finding that center. Maybe practice a few shoulder rolls here. Do what feels good to your body. Maybe do a few neck rolls. Your choice. Connect a little deeper with the sensations you're feeling throughout your body as you continue with that normal breath. I now invite you with our palms on the knees. We're going to start those Sufi rolls, working the pelvic floor today. So I invite you, we're going to take the body to the right and then circle it around over to the left and back to that Sukhasana. So we're going to go 10 times each side. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there's 10. So I invite you to start swaying the upper body from side to side as you keep those palms on the knees. Just letting that spine relax as you flow from left to right. And taking it back to that easy pose, we're going to start those Sufi grinds, going to our left, circle it around to the right, and back to that center. There's 1, going for 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Going right into that sway from side to side with that upper body. Maybe roll the shoulders. And I invite you to find that Sukhasana. We're going to take an inhale as we float those hands to the sky. And then we're just going to release the hands down to the mat on that exhale a few times. Inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, float them down. Inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale, float them down. I now invite you, we're going to make an adjustment with our legs and our feet as we settle to our butterfly or Baddha Konasana pose. So we are going to adjust the body, taking the soles of our feet touching. You can feel free to use a pillow underneath those sit bones for your body comfort, or a yoga block. Do what feels good to you today. We're going to take a few moments, just breathing normal, in through our nose, sigh it out the mouth. Feel free to move the knees away from the mat and back down to the mat. Imagining the wings on a beautiful butterfly, fixing to take flight. And we're simply going to release it, making an adjustment here as we take our body on all fours, Settling to that tabletop. I do invite you to have the knees a little bit wider here. Taking an inhale, we're going to drop that belly, open the yogi heart, yogi gaze upward. On the exhale, we're going to start taking yogi gaze to the front of our mat as we round that upper spine. Inhale, making that transition, dropping our belly, open yogi heart, yogi gaze upward. Exhale, start taking yogi gaze to the front of your mat as you round the upper shoulders. So a few times here, getting into our own breath, flow, body movement. And settling to tabletop, we're going to adjust our knees a little bit in closer to the body. Just make that little adjustment. I do invite you, we're going to start extending that left foot and leg straight back. And when you feel ready, extending left arm forward. Taking a few breaths here. Releasing left hand to the mat, as well as that knee. I invite you to go into that cow and cat movement a few times. Drop in the belly, open yogi heart, yogi gaze up. Exhale, yogi gaze to the front of that mat as you round the upper spine. And settling back to all fours, we're going to work the opposite side. So I invite you to extend the right leg and foot straight back. And when you feel ready, taking that right arm forward and breathe, keeping the gaze to your mat. I now invite you taking the hand and that knee to the mat, starting that cow and cat flow. Inhale, taking yogi gaze up. Exhale, yogi gaze to the front of that mat. And finding our bodies back in that tabletop position. We're going to start tucking our toes and then walking hands into the body. We're going to take our body to that thunderbolt pose. So be mindful here. You're going to have a seat on those heels. You can have the hands, heart center, chest. Or you can keep the hands to the knees, your choice. We're going to take a few breaths here. I do invite you, if your hands were at prayer, center heart, taking the hands to the knees and taking a few breaths here. So we're now just kind of roll that body away from the heels of our feet as we let the toes lie flat on our mat. Taking a few breaths here. You can take the hands to those hips if you would like. I now invite you, we're going to start hip rolls. Just gentle circular motions. Being mindful that we're circling the hips, right and left sides. Giving them a little TLC and love today. And we're going to find that center. We are going to settle to that low lunge, our Vinyasa, as we step and take the right foot forward. And leg is going to be into a little bit of a lunge here, so be mindful. I invite you to breathe in, taking those hands overhead, and take a few breaths here. We're going to start opening the arms wide and then circling around towards that low spine, interlocking those fingertips, and then just open that yogi heart, taking that gaze upward, and breathe. We're going to release the hands, floating them high overhead, and then circling the hands down around to that mat. And simply taking that right foot and leg back to that tabletop. Inhale, dropping our belly, open that yogi heart, yogi gaze upward. Exhale, chin to the chest, gaze at the front of that mat. Getting into your own flow here. Finding that tabletop position. We're going to transition the body where we take the left foot forward into that lunge and then a gentle raise of the upper body away from that mat. Hands to the sky. I invite you to take a few breaths here. Start circling those arms down and around towards that low spine. Interlocking fingertips. Taking an inhale, open that yogi heart. Yogi gaze upward and breathe. We're going to release those hands. And I invite you to take the body back to that tabletop. So we're going to take those knees a little wider today. Taking a breath in. On the exhale, sink those hips to the heels of your feet as we settle to that child's pose. And we're going to take a few breaths here. Taking an inhale, we're going to roll that body up to all fours. We're going to start tucking our toes. We're going to lift the feet, or lift the knees, hips to the sky on that exhale as you settle to a wider downward facing dog today. Taking a few breaths here. now invite you, transition that body to your strong plank. We're going to take 3 breaths here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So we're going to let the left knee go to the mat. We're going to turn that back right foot, taking a breath in, floating the right hand to the sky. We're settling to that modified side plank. Taking a few breaths here. You can have the right hand at a little bind around that waist if you would like. Do what feels comfortable for your body. So we're going to start releasing the right hand, circling down to our mat, turning the body forward. That yogi gaze is going to be out forward. And I now invite you to lift the right foot away from the mat. We're going to keep that back leg straight, taking a few breaths here. And taking the right knee to the mat now. Tabletop. I invite you to take an inhale. Exhale, sigh it out. So we're going to work that left side as we extend the left foot straight back. Hold and breathe a few breaths here. We're going to make that adjustment as we turn the body to that left side plank, left hand to the sky. Follow with that yogi gaze. Taking a few breaths here. You have the option to take the left hand around the waist, a little bit of a bind. Keeping that yogi gaze up and breathe. So we're going to start transitioning that body, turning forward on our mat, taking that knee to the mat, settling to all fours today, taking an inhale and exhale. So we are going to transition the body back to that easy pose, Sukhasana today. I invite you to roll those shoulders away from those ears. Taking a breath in, we're going to extend the arms kind of like a T shape with the palms facing downward towards your mat. Taking a few breaths here. Your eyes can be open, closed, gaze soft. Your choice today. I now invite you, we're going to start swimming those arms around towards the low spine. And we're just going to lift the yogi heart open, taking the gaze upward. And we're going to take a few normal breaths here. We're now going to breathe in as we start opening those arms to that T shape. And we're just going to lift the yogi heart open, taking the gaze upward. And we're going to take a few normal breaths here. We're now going to breathe in as we start opening those arms to that T shape. And we're just going to lift the yogi heart open, taking the gaze upward. And we're going to take a few normal breaths here. Exhale, start floating those hands forward, taking them like an arrow in front of you. Exhale. Inhale, hands to the sky. And exhale, we're going to release the hands in a slow circular motion down to our mat. Inhale, floating hands to the sky. Exhale, float them down. Inhale, hands to the sky. Palms are going to touch here. We're going to relax those elbows as you take the hands, heart, center, chest. We're going to start pointing those fingertips forward and then shooting that arrow out forward, swimming those arms wide and around towards that low spine. Open that yogi heart, yogi gaze upward. And just release it. Let it go. So finding that easy pose. We're going to practice our Tarasana pose. It's our star pose. So be mindful how deep you want to go. You're going to continue to set in that easy pose. We're going to take an inhale as we take those hands to the sky. On the exhale, open arms wide. Start folding the upper body closer to the ground. And then take those hands cupping around the knees. Or you can take the arms a little in front of those knees. Elbows will be bent. And we're going to hang out here, taking a few breaths. If you want to go a little deeper, feel free to place the forehead into those palms. When you feel ready, we're going to just start lifting the head away from the ground as you roll that body back to that easy pose. I now invite you, as we continue to hug the left foot into our body, we're going to extend the right leg out to the side. We're going to work our hamstrings a little bit. We're going to practice a few ankle circles with that right foot. I do invite you to take that yogi gaze to the right big toe as you're making those circular movements, just giving that ankle a little TLC today. I now invite you, taking that yogi gaze forward, deep breath in through our nose, hands to the sky. On your exhale, we're going to take the upper body over to the right, just going towards that right foot. You can take the right hand or both hands if you're able to that right foot, or the right hand to the toes, ankles, shins, wherever your body goes here. Taking a few breaths. Then we're going to release it as we plant left hand to our mat, right hand to the sky. And then we're going to lift the hips a little bit away from the mat, circling right hand down and around in a big circular motion a few times here. There's one big circle. There's 2, 3, 4, one more, and 5. Having a seat on our mat, taking that right foot, hugging it closer into our body. We're simply switching sides here. Extending the left leg out to the side of the body, making our few adjustments. I now invite you, we're going to take a deep inhale as we take the hands to the sky, and then we're going to take the body movement over towards that left foot. Taking a few breaths here. Now invite you, deep breath in, right hand circling around to the right side of our mat. And then we're going to circle that left arm down and around towards the right side. And lift that pelvic floor away from your mat, going into those good shoulder circles with that left arm. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Settling that pelvic floor down towards our mat. And relax. Shake it off. I now invite you, we're going to settle back to that Baddha Konasana pose. A few breaths here. Floating the knees away from the mat and down to the mat. Your choice here. Just taking a few breaths. As we continue to hug the right foot to the body, we're going to settle to our pigeon pose. So we're going to take the left leg back around. That right leg is going to be shaped kind of like a 7. And then extend left leg back. You can hang out right here. Do what feels good to your body today. Or you can take pigeon a little deeper. And if you don't have the flexibility in that left leg, keep that left knee bent. You're still working the pelvic floor and that hip area. Do what feels comfortable for your body. We're going to take a few breaths here. In through our nose, sigh it out on that exhale. So we're going to roll the upper body away from our mats. And then we're going to practice a little hip mobility here. So we're going to bend the left knee close into the body. Hands are just going to be beside you on that mat. And then we're going to start taking the right knee over to the left as we lift left knee away, switching those sides. Making a few adjustments. As we settle to the pigeon pose, on that left hip, taking right leg straight back or keep right knee bent. Your choice. Taking a few breaths here. So we're going to start lifting the upper body away from that mat, sliding that the right leg, closer into your body. We're going to keep the left knee and foot exactly where it's at. So we're going to turn the upper body forward. Deep breath in as you take those hands to the sky. Exhale, just release them down to the mat. So we're going to make an adjustment as we settle to that left side lying Shavasana. This might be a time for you to grab a pillow, a blanket, a bolster. Do what feels comfortable for your body. I am going to take both my little pillows here. One of them I'm going to place in between my knees. And then the other one, I'm going to relax that left temple. I do invite you, we're going to take our right hand to the belly. And we're going to close our eyes, relaxing the jawline and relaxing our forehead. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Continuing with our breath. Connecting the breath with the sensations we're feeling throughout our bodies in this present moment. Connecting with that deep trust we all have within each of us. It's okay if that mind wanders. I do invite you, when that happens, just bring it back to your pranayama, your breath, and the sensations you're feeling throughout the body.